Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining Encore Palm Beach County for our monthly Zoom event. We have a very special guest today, Cody Melton from CareerSource of Palm Beach County. He is the Director of Operations and is going to share his information with us today about all the services that CareerSource provides. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Cody. Please introduce yourself. Tell us how you came to be at CareerSource and tell us. We want to hear it all.
All right, very good. So, yes, as Christine mentioned, I'm Director of Operations at CareerSource. I've been with the company for 8 years, and I started off as a client, actually. So before we get to that part, let me go back a little bit further. So before I went to the CareerSource, I was in the Air Force. I did that for about 12 years. I worked on avionics, the F-15 up in Alaska. Then after that, went down to Southern California, worked on test platforms such as the Predator Reaper and the Global Hawk platforms. And then after that, I went over to Texas and I taught avionics. Now, when I got out of the service, I had a game plan for transitioning to the civilian world. That game plan did not work out the way I wanted it to, as most plans commonly do. And so the real world kind of took me by surprise, I guess is one way to say that. So I went to CareerSource for help, and help I did receive. They helped me with many myriad of different services, and we'll dive into those services in just a little bit. But the short of it is they ended up finding me employment at CareerSource. So I was very happy with that. I started off as a recruiter, and then I worked into the in the veterans program, and then moved on into the where I am now, Director of Operations at CareerSource.
Great, great. Wow, that's quite a story about how you went there to find help and ended up getting a job. We hear a lot of that these days, where people are, in the case of even with Encore, people are volunteering and all of a sudden they find work opportunities through volunteer work. So there's a lot to be said for that as well. So fill us in on some of the services that you do offer. I know there are so many people these days who are trying to find job opportunities online. And as we all know, that's not always the best option for a number of different reasons, which we'll get into a little bit later. But tell us how people find you, what it is you offer, and take it from there.
So people find us in various different methods. Sometimes they find us because they are introduced into a program. Sometimes they find us because they're introduced into unemployment. And so there's a myriad of different ways in which people run into us. But the common denominator between every single person that walks through our door is that they are seeking employment or are unemployed. And so the services that we offer are all tailored around making those individuals job ready. And we can do that through a myriad of different ways. There is no cookie cutter way to get someone job ready because there's no such thing as a cookie cutter human. And so we have to tailor our services to their particular needs. So generally one of the first questions we ask is, what kind of job are you looking for? That's where we start. We go from there and we identify barriers. We try to eliminate barriers and we try to get them to what we call job ready. And so some of these programs, we will help people build resumes. We will help them do job searching. We introduce them into interview skills, what they can expect in an interview, how to handle interviews, all the way to sometimes people may need training, upskilling, things of that nature, and we can help with that as well. We do have a few departments that are tailored to specific audiences. One I had mentioned casually as the veterans program. I myself was in that. We have an entire department dedicated to assisting veterans in their unique barriers. And so in a nutshell, that is CareerSource's overall services, and our goal being that we want to get someone back into the job market. We want to help them get job ready.
So, are your services specifically for someone who is on unemployment? Or what about someone who has just recently left the job market and is trying to return to the job market? Who are your services really best suited for?
Our services are best suited for those who want employment. I'll say it that way. So the two categories you mentioned, those who are on unemployment benefits and those who are just seeking employment, we serve both, and we serve both equally, and we encourage both to put forth that effort, that uh, those hard steps that need to be taken to get back into the market. And so that's the difficult thing about being unemployed, is that finding a job is a job in itself. And that ends up being a full-time job.
Yeah, correct. Yes, definitely. Well, how do people find you?
hmm So they find us a lot of times through we hold a lot of job fairs, events, things of that nature. Periodically, you will see our name on a billboard or perhaps a bus. We do some advertising, but we are very limited in our budget that way. So our advertising isn't as robust as, say, to the effect that, or to the point to where you would see us on, say, a commercial during daytime. So you may not find us that way. But our doors are open Monday through Friday, and there are quite a few people who do walk through our doors because they are entered into programs that are mandated and that for them to receive unemployment benefits. And then we can dive into those programs if you would like.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to learn more. And I think, those listening would also, because it's great that they can walk in, but, understanding exactly what is available. Why would they walk in?
Yeah, good question. So the availability, or let me back up. The reason why someone would want to walk in through our doors, I would like to think, is that they are seeking help to find employment. And so when they walk in the doors, they're going to find a lobby and they're going to sign in and they're going to let us know what exactly they need help with. And one of the biggest buttons that's pushed is seeking employment. And so when there's when they click that, when they let us know that they're seeking employment, I go back to that first question: what job are you looking for? Okay, so some of the services that we can help that would encourage people to walk through our doors would be that we can build that resume. It's going to cost you zero. We can prepare you for the interview. Once again, nothing. It will cost you nothing. And then we can help you with those job searches. We can help you with upskilling. And a lot of these services that I'm mentioning are at zero cost, but the value of these services are in the thousands, especially when you get into if you're trying to have a resume professionally built. That can cost many individuals a lot of money. And then the ironic part about it is most people who need that updated resume don't have that extra capital to spend on building a great resume. And so that's a service that's asked of us quite a lot, and we pride ourselves on providing that service. But I would argue that the best service, the number one service that we have, is that one-on-one conversation with one of our career counselors. That hey, let's find out what job you're looking for and what are these barriers that are in your way for achieving that employment, and let's see if we can move through, get past, or even eliminate these barriers.
Great information, great information. And about your job fairs. So how do people find out about the job fairs?
Yeah, so in the job fairs, we try to really get the word out in every way that we can. So you will hear us through perhaps a robocall. We try to get those through that way. Excuse me. Mass text messaging, we will send it that way. We find a lot of people will look at their phone and text messaging, so we'll do it that way. We'll see us on billboards. We do have news agency, local news, that will oftentimes advertise our events in the morning news. On top of that, like I said, you may see us on billboard sides of the bus, things of that nature, all the way to printed out flyers. You may even see some old school paper flyers, and so and we found that even today in 2024, don't overlook the power of a flyer. So that has served us very well, and so we try to use a myriad of different ways, different avenues to reach out to people given the budget that we have.
And so, do you select the employers for the organizations for the job fair, or do they come to you to participate?
Good question. We are very intentional about the employers that attend the job fair. Most job fairs, the intention is that, or excuse me, it's usually built around a certain industry, or we're trying to assist a certain population or specific population. And so we try to find employers that are willing to hire that population. Or, for example, if we did let's say, like a healthcare job fair, we would be very intentional about which particular employers that we bring in to be consistent with their theme. So we won't just let anyone in. We are very particular, I would say.
Okay, and you recruit them?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we have a business services team within CareerSource that develops and maintains relationships with local employers. And we find this is very helpful in allowing us or giving us the ability to connect people with those employers.
That's great. That's great. How often do you hold the job fairs?
Uh, I would I would say we're holding a job fair about once a quarter. If you put it on an average, we're holding a job fair about once every 3 to 4 months. You will see a major job fair. We just finished one. We collaborated with Palm Beach State College and had a job fair focused on their graduating their graduating classes. And so once again, we had a lot of employers that were specifically tailored to Palm Beach State College's graduating class.
So, do you find there are specific industries that are more inclined to have a need for? Like we notice in our work that we do, that healthcare industry seems to need quite a bit. Are there other industries besides that are more prominent in need?
Yeah, so apart from healthcare, which is always growing here, but apart from healthcare, trades is a big one. I would even go so far as to say CDL drivers. That's another big one.
Hmm.
But then also administrators, administrative. So your admin assistants, things of that nature. Front desk receptionists. That is also a common, or excuse me, a big ask. We have a lot of those as well.
Do you have any specific programs for mature workers in
We
CareerSource?
So we have a lot of programs that are specifically tailored to certain audiences. I had mentioned, like in the past, veterans. We have one to help those individuals that have disabilities. But we don't have a specific department tailored to helping our seniors. That being said, I would argue that we are well equipped to assist our seniors in finding employment opportunities.
Okay, so when you say seniors, we say 50 plus mature workers.
50 plus mature workers, yes, ma'am.
Okay, because of obviously because of the shifting climate and the boomers all aging, obviously there are more and more people who have needed to continue to work or go back to work post retirement. So, do you have any programs that are geared towards that?
Uh, we have our entire, uh, I would say our entire resource center is geared towards that. And here's what I mean by that. Um, our staff is very diverse. Okay, so let me start there. So not only in a you could pick a demographic. We're very diverse in it to include age as well. So we have and we do hire and intentionally people who are 50 plus because we want to be able to relate with our customers, and every demographic in the world walks through our doors to include our 50 plus. And so that plus we are also partnered with AARP, and we coordinate with them. As a matter of fact, we have hired and work with actively right now AARP participants, and so we coordinate with them. Even their operations director over there, on a first name basis, we communicate consistently, and so despite that, we may not have a specific department for 50 plus. I feel very confident that we are well equipped to serve those who are 50 plus who are looking to get into or perhaps back into the workforce.
I'm curious, how do you collaborate with AARP? In other words, what is the support system there? How does that work?
Yes, so two different ways. Not only do we employ or have ARP participants assist us, but then as well, if we have individuals who could use AARP assistance, we will refer them over to that program, explaining the benefits of AARP.
Ah, okay, okay. I notice on your website you have career and technical education and apprenticeship programs. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Yes, absolutely. So the we have a few different programs, and this all ties back to training, upskilling, and we are getting into the apprenticeship program world as well. We have, I believe there is, no, I know there is one out in Belglade. We are working there. We have an apprenticeship program that's developing there, and is actually a big push at the state level to develop apprenticeship programs. So we're heavily involved in that. On top of that, we do upskill or train, or another way to say it is provide scholarships through our WIOA program. And so that's another way that we can do this. But I'll pause on WIOA a little bit unless you would like me to dive into that whole scholarship program.
Yeah, I'm curious about the WEO that you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so I'm speaking in an acronym, and so what it is WIOA, and that stands for Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. So don't quote me on the years, but I believe it was in 2014 when it switched from WIA to WIOA. Now, what that is a training or scholarship program designed to help those who need that financial assistance to gain those skills, certifications, or degrees to get back into or progress through the workforce, or excuse me, yes, the workforce. Okay. And so to get involved in the program, you have to apply to it, and we prioritize because there's only a certain amount of money we have. We do prioritize based on first veterans. We priority service with veterans, those with disabilities, things of that nature. So we have a whole priority list that is provided to us, and we provide that training, and we cover the vast majority of the cost. I believe it is up to $8,000 that we will cover if approved. And now some of the training programs that we do have, excuse me, all the training programs that we do have, we do not, want to be clear, we do not administer those trainings ourselves. We partner with local education institutions such as FAU, Palm Beach State College, Kaiser University, so on and so on, to provide that training, certifications, degrees, so on and so forth. And so the programs that we have are all tailored around which industries are growing or are prominent in the local area, in this case, Palm Beach County. So if you were to go to CareerSource and say, hey, I need a certificate in basket weaving, we would not be able to help you because that is not a growing industry in Palm Beach County. But if you were interested in becoming a registered nurse, you're knocking on the right door. We can absolutely help you with that and becoming a registered nurse. And like I said, cover up to $8,000 of that degree.
I'm going to give you a minute to catch your breath. In 2018, we had in Encore Palm Beach County, we had come across a finding of a survey that was with CareerSource and the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. And the survey was about the skill gaps entering the workforce. And we have been searching and are curious to find out, because we know so much has changed since that 2018, if there's been any continued studies or updated studies on the skill gap and the need for what the requirements are moving forward for job opportunities.
Yeah, there have been additional studies that needle has not moved much. So I'll say it that way. As far as the skill gaps, if we're talking about that number specifically, now the reason why I say that is that is the big reason why is it a big push at the state level for the apprenticeship programs. That is why there's a big push to provide WIOA additional funding to increase decrease that skills gap. That being said, a lot of employers are really looking for soft skills more than your hard skills now. They're finding that they will take someone with soft skills and then train them in the hard skills, hence the apprenticeship programs. And so that is the way a lot of industries are now tackling the skill gap. They're relying less on finding and locating and hiring people who already have that experience, who already have that certification degree, so on and so forth. And they're looking more and more industries and companies are looking more towards, give me these soft skills and I'll train them on those skills. We'll fill in that gap internally, and we can tailor that training to specifically how our company handles these particular skills. And so that's effective. It's just now getting started, so I don't have results for that. But I am very optimistic. The logic is sound, and I think it's something that we probably should have started a long time ago.
Right. Yeah, totally agree with that. Well, along those same lines then, is there an opportunity for mentoring with these programs? I was going to ask you about who actually trains and teaches these programs, but are there opportunities for mentoring for the older 50 plus who may be out of the job market or retired, who are looking for those work opportunities to train in these apprenticeship programs?
Yes, and so if you're looking to get into these programs, I think the best place to start is, if you want to go through CareerSource, I think the best place to start is through our website. So that would be www.CareerSourcePBC.com. Now, from there, you're going to be able to find, you'll be able to see which programs we offer, how much out of pocket costs, how much is covered in those programs. And so that would be where you would want to start, to include the nursing program. You can find that in there as well. We are provided additional funds. That bucket of money that we provide for the training has shrunk right now, but we get reimbursed, or I guess that's one way to say it, but that bucket gets filled back up in July. And so we fully expect for a lot of people to be knocking on our door in July, ready to jump back into those programs. And so we're very excited about that. And so that's where I would start. Go to CareerSourcePBC.com. That's where you can find a lot of our training opportunities.
That's great. Okay, so now in those same educational facilities, schools that that help you promote those programs and teach those programs, are there opportunities in there for, say, we have volunteers who would be interested in teaching, aside from just looking for work? Say a retired plumber who may want to teach in a trade. So are there opportunities there with the educational facilities as well, where we can meld together, because we're all trying to accomplish the same thing? Is there a way for us to all collaborate?
Um, there is. And so now, as far as job opportunities, if one was looking for a job opportunity to be a trainer or an instructor, if that's the question, then yes. Once again, you can come to CareerSource. We do have a strong partnership with our local universities, educational institutions, and so they commonly do come to us when there is an opening, an instructor opening, or really an opening of any kind. And we do send them candidates. We do commonly skill up and provide local companies with candidates in a myriad of different industries, to include those interested in becoming instructors, teachers, things of that nature.
That is great to know. That is great to know, because that's something that we come across in Encore all the time. You know, we have the wisdom and experience, but where do we apply it, and how can we find the opportunities for them to apply it? And that's what Encore is all about. I know we've spoken about the wisdom and experience event that we have coming up in September. That is this is our 4th annual event. And we ask for nominations of the employers that hired the 50 plus. And the opportunity really is to bring attention and to focus on the value of the mature worker. And as we mentioned earlier, because of the shift in the aging and the demographics, that is becoming something more and more we need to bring into focus. Do you see any shifts in what you're doing as far as the age of people that come to you?
Yes. It's, albeit slight, the answer is still yes. And what I'm talking about is, we do have more and more 50 plus coming to us. And I'm making an assumption here, but my assumption is that that has a lot to do with the increased cost of living versus the static income. And so I don't know how far off I am, but I feel confident I'm pretty close to the mark on that one, especially when I have these conversations with these individuals. And so uh, we do have those individuals that come to the door. I'm sorry, I kind of lost track there. Did I answer your question, or did I miss that mark?
No, you're pretty right on, actually, because that was kind of my next question. Do you think it is because of the increased cost of living, or because of people in retirement finding the need to continue working? So you pretty much covered it right there, because we all know that's a major issue now. And so that is who Encore works with and deals with. And so for us to be able to tell people that you have the projects and the opportunities that you can connect them with, and that you can, if we have a viable candidate, you can help them with whatever their needs are along the way. So I think that is, I think you got it right on there. So I know you have a lot of other programs that I've seen on the website, like about Hope, Florida, and some other things. Can you fill us in on some of those other things? I know that you work with some private sector companies on those type of things. What do those look like?
Well, we do have a myriad of different programs that we work with outside of the programs that I just listed. So one, for example, the business arm, the business services within CareerSource. That's an important arm within CareerSource, because maintaining a positive and healthy relationship with the local employers makes it a lot easier to connect our employers with our job seekers or job ready job seekers. That's one. We're also very involved with the educational institutions and trying to connect that pipeline with those starving industries such as healthcare. And so our CEO being a nurse herself, that is dear to her heart. We are also very involved in the veteran community. We have an entire program out there, and we do a lot of volunteer work on that end. As a matter of fact, we work with Habitat for Humanity on a continuous basis. There's last year we were, and this year, 2 years in a row, I should say, we've been assisting with building homes and through volunteer work through our myriad of volunteers. And so we have our fingers in a lot of nonprofit organizations that are all tailored around helping those underserved populations, helping those who actually need that help. And so we are very involved, very active in that world.
That's great to hear, because it's, there again, it's exactly what we do. And so we're always trying to find those pipelines and those ways that we can serve the people who come to Encore. So tell us about the Professional Placement Network. What is that? How does it work?
Yes, PPN. I don't know if you know this, but I like speaking in acronyms. It's the military.
It's the
Yeah,
government. It's all acronyms.
And the Professional Placement Network, this is an excellent program, very popular and growing in popularity for our individuals who are seeking employment in the leadership roles. And so we're talking about individuals who have that experience in a manager, director, an executive position, and they're looking to get back into that industry or transfer from one leadership role in this industry to another leadership role in that industry, things of that nature. Those are just a few examples of the of the demographics that are involved in PPN and who participate in our PPN program. And so that's really tailored towards those individuals and the reason why we have that is because looking for a job in a trade, let's say an electrician, that's a certain process. Looking for a job, let's say as for a COO position, that's an entirely different process. And so we have to tailor that once again. There is no cookie cutter. And so we have to tailor that. And there are special ways in which we have to communicate based on those two entirely different paths. And so that's what PPN is. It's really tailored towards those individuals that are in those leadership roles who are looking to grow, expand, or get back into those leadership positions.
And do you find there's more opportunities in those fields these days as the people are retiring and those job opportunities are, would you say there are succession plans in place, I guess is really what I want to get to, for the capable person to move into those leadership roles when someone does retire?
Yes, and I would argue that number is growing and growing. As you are aware, and I'm sure everyone that's listening right now is aware, that a lot of our knowledge, our 50 plus individuals, our knowledge, our experience, they're all leaving. And so that is the big push. What is the back? Who's coming in behind all this experience that's leaving that we're losing now? And so even my own leadership is saying, "Hey, what's your plan?" Because one day that's gonna be you're gonna leave us too. And so everyone should be having this conversation. And then I would argue that more and more companies are being forced to have this conversation right now. And so that is, to your point, why yes, there are a lot of those positions opening up. And so there are quite a few companies that did not have or were not set up for that to promote from within, and so therefore are having to hire externally. And so that is a big, my opinion here, is a big reason why PPN is one of the reasons why PPN is popular. The other reason is because the facilitator, he's very good at his job. I'll say it that way.
Okay. It doesn't happen to be you, does it?
No, it is not. It is not. It is not me. No, I could not do what he does. He's very good at what he does.
Okay, so I am just going to go into the chat for a minute. I see we have a couple of comments here. Okay, Craig asked to provide a link for the WIOA registered nurse training program.
Yeah.
Do you want to read that out and then I'll put it in the chat?
Yeah, so you're going to want to go to CareerSourcePBC.com. Now, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but on there, there should be a button that says something to the effect of training opportunities. So when you click on that training opportunities, it's going to bring you to another page where you'll be able to see, well, those training opportunities, and it should be able to break it down all the way to what courses there are, who's providing that course, how long that course is, how much CareerSource is going to cover, what's out of pocket, so on and so on and so on. It'll give you as much detail as you can, as you would want on the surface level, and then you're going to want to apply. Now, that being said, be cautious because right now, as I've mentioned, the funding for those programs right now, we're shrinking and shrinking, but come July, we're going to get our bucket filled up again. And so that would be a great time to go to that website and apply.
Great information. Thank you. And I know there was another comment here. Okay. James would like, as soon as I can scroll down here, to return to and actually define what you refer to as soft skills.
Okay. So soft skills, that would be things such as how just your demeanor, how you introduce yourself, how you greet people, how you interact, your EQ, your emotional intelligence. Those are soft skills. Things of that nature. Just who you are as a person, and those skills that make you you. Now, your hard skills to distinguish the two between soft skill and hard skill. The easiest way is your certifications, your degrees, your experience, your years of experience. Those are your hard skills. Now, your soft skills are, like I was saying, really just more of who you are as a person. I think is the best way. Now, there's a myriad of examples that you can point to, not just the ones that I provided. As a matter of fact, I believe there's probably better examples that my head is failing to come up with as far as soft skills. But but it does not change the fact that your soft skills, those make up who you are, your personality, how you interact with those around you.
And I think probably the first one at the top of the list is being prompt.
Yes, being on time.
Or showing up in today's day and age might be the number one.
That's always a good skill to have. And a lot of employers are finding that that's what they're looking for. They want someone that has a good work ethic. They want someone who, like you said, is prompt, who shows up on time. They want someone who wants to be there. Those are just the three other kind of soft examples of soft skills that employers are really looking for right now.
And James wants to know, with that same question, what changed? Why would the employers prefer the soft skills over the technical skills? What has changed? It used to be the other way around.
It did used to be the other way around. And so I think what changed is because every company is really customized how exactly they do things on a technical level. And so when a university or a specific training institution trains someone, they're training someone one way. And so a lot of whenever those graduates go into that company generally a lot of times has to adjust that training or tailor a little bit of that training. And so that can cause, that can create a little bit of time, maybe a little bit of money, training, things of that nature. But what is very difficult to train is work ethic, is getting someone to show up on time. Those things, how you interact. If someone is, are you able to de-escalate a situation, or is your personality more the one that's going to escalate a bad situation? Those are very difficult to train. versus say, if I were to train someone to weld. So you give me enough time, enough money, I can train someone to weld, and I can do it fairly accurately. But to train someone to interact, to have that personality that meshes well with your particular work environment, uh, that's very difficult to train. Some may even argue it can't be trained.
Can't be trained. Exactly. Yeah. Rosemary and I have this conversation all the time about the difference in personalities and how certain personality traits are more inclined to be more proactive in the workforce or getting things done. And other people are kind of like, when I get to it mentality. And so, I mean, I think that in itself, I don't know how you would title that, but that I think is a skill set in itself. You know, some people more go-getters than others, and a little bit more interested in participating as opposed to being told what to do.
That's right. And I'll double down a little bit because on that is the reason why soft skills are a lot of companies are favoring soft skills over those hard skills for the most part. And that has a lot to do with the fact that companies are really focusing and paying attention to their work environment. Is your work environment conducive for productivity, or is it toxic? Are the people enjoying coming to work, or are they dreading coming to work? And the productivity differs wildly based on the environment that your company has created. And so that is another reason why soft skills are looked at more now versus the past.
And you mentioned work environment. So how do you see the shift since COVID? Are there more and more companies who are wanting people back in the workplace as opposed to working at home?
That's correct. There's a big push to bring everyone back to the workforce, work area. And that's because in the remote setting, they've found a lot of pitfalls that don't apply to everyone, but have applied to enough people to where they're having to pull them back. Those pitfalls being, if I'm at home, there's less accountability, things that productivity kind of slows down. Also, another thing that they're finding is that when individuals are home or isolated for long periods of time, that can create another set of problems. And like I said, this does not apply to everyone, but it applies to enough people to where a lot of companies are bringing them back in. Yes.
Yeah, there's definitely a shift, and for obvious reasons. Yeah, I think we've all seen that. You've given us a wealth of information, Cody. I'm sorry I didn't give you much of a water break there, but
I don't mind at all.
but there's so much to talk about, and I think we probably barely touched the surface. So I'd like to open it up now. If anyone has any questions, just unmute, Rosemary.
So you mentioned when people go in to get help at CareerSource and they're meeting with a counselor, and you ask them, what is it that, you want? What are you looking for? What kind of work? And I've done a fair amount of work with people as a financial advisor, a retirement coach, et cetera, et cetera. And my experience has been when you ask people what it is they want, most of them really don't know what they want.
Right.
People are not very clear about what their needs and wants are. Sometimes they need some help figuring that out. You'd think it would be clear, but not necessarily. And oftentimes what they want is what they had before, which in a job. And that may not exist any longer, or there may be fewer opportunities. Have you found that to be have counselors found that to be the case with people coming in?
Yes to all of that. And to your point, Rosemary, asking that question, what do you want to do? It is a very difficult question to answer for a lot of individuals. And yes, you're right, Rosemary. A lot of times, our career counselors, they do have to work with the individual to find that answer. And there are myriad of different ways we can pull that answer out of people. What have you done in the past? What are things you enjoy doing? What skills have you acquired in the past? And so we piece all those together and then combine that with what's available in the area that you live in. What's available in the economic range that you're looking for. And so yes, it is very difficult to answer. It takes time to get to that question. And then once we do have that answer, the next one's it can be easier to answer, but even more difficult to solve. And that is, well, what are these barriers that are preventing you from getting that employment opportunity? And that varies wildly. And that is why it's very important that we have a strong connection with our local and our other nonprofit organizations, those other companies, those other organizations out there designed to help those. Because although CareerSource does offer quite a few services, we can't offer all of them. And so that's why we work together as a whole community within Palm Beach to assist people in getting back into the workforce.
Thank you, Cody. Very good. I think what you're saying is a lot of people don't really understand that skills that they have in one area are transferable
Right.
to other areas, and they don't know that that's a possibility, and it has to be pointed out to them. And one of the things that we've observed working with some people, and by the way, we don't place people in jobs, we just simply refer them to organizations like CareerSource, which does provide various services. But my personal observation is a lot of people put up barriers themselves, never mind the ones that are external. They can't do this, they can't go there, they only can be available part-time and so forth. Do you see that as a problem for people?
Yes, it is not uncommon to find an example of an individual who will manufacture barriers. I think is one way to say that. To make things to view their situation and incorporate difficulties that may not be as difficult as they imagine. And so one thing that we do very well at CareerSource is we're very good at eliminating excuses. Okay, and so we've eliminated barriers, but we're very good at eliminating excuses. And so what I mean by that is if someone says something to the effect of, well, I would go to and get a job, but I don't have childcare seems to be a big issue with that. No problem. Through our WEO program, we can now help you pay through childcare all the way up until you're employed, and then just a couple months after that as well. Well, but I would get this job, but I don't have the tools and I just can't afford to get those tools. So, oh, no worries. We can pay for that. We'll buy you your tools. Make sure that you have all the tools you need to include boots, wrenches, everything you need, maybe even a laptop. We'll pay for that as well. And so now we've eliminated that barrier. And so, yes, we eliminate barriers, but at the same time, we're very good at eliminating excuses as well.
I love it,
Love it.
Cody, because a lot of people are very good at finding out why they can't do something. I have two last questions, and both of them relate to a working relationship between Encore Palm Beach County and CareerSource. One is we used to get the email notices of your job fairs. We don't get that any longer. Does that mean that nobody gets them?
Well, I hope not. But what I would say is that our job fairs can be found, all of our events and job fairs can be found on our website, CareerSourcePBC.com, and you want to click events. And so we do send them that way. Now, we do also have an email list, a distribution list for certain organizations to let them know about our events. And so I will be sure to re-put your name in there. And then
Yeah, we were there, and then it was somehow because we can't just sit looking at your website to find out when the job fairs are.
Yes,
So I would
ma'am.
appreciate that. And the second thing is, Christine mentioned Wisdom and Experience Awards event coming up in September. Can we work with you to help identify some employers who need to know about our nomination process? Because we're trying to identify age-friendly employers. You know, we don't know all the companies here in Palm Beach County. We count on other people to connect us with them to fill out a nomination form. And the second question, nothing like putting you on the spot, but it would be wonderful if CareerSource could become a sponsor of the event. I think it's something that benefits people, a lot of people and employers in Palm Beach County. Good PR for you.
Absolutely. And so just to double down on the statement I made earlier, we do want to be involved with our local organizations, Encore to be included in one of those. So we'd be very happy to assist, to participate in any way that we can, and to include participating in any events you have, assisting any clients you have, and then providing any amount of information or knowledge or anything that you would like that we can do. We will absolutely provide that to Encore. And then to include, if you have an event, if you would like CareerSource to have a presence there, be involved, as long as we have the availability, we will be there. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Cody. Yes, Josette asked, does CareerSource offer assessments to identify skills and talents?
Right now, we do not have a specific test to identify skills and talents. It is a one-on-one conversation that we do to identify the skills and talents that are relevant to the industry that you're trying to get into. So we handle that process in a little bit different way. We've gone away from, here, take this test, let's find out what skills you have, and then let's find out what industry works best with the skills you have. And we go more into, let's have a conversation. What do you want to do? And let's find out those skills that way. Let's pull those skills, because the reason why I say that we pulled out away from this is we found that a lot of people will have these skills, but they're no longer interested in being in this industry anymore. And so those skills assessment, albeit is helpful, it can be helpful if used correctly. There are times when, because our budget is so fine, we do have to make certain sacrifices, and so unfortunately, the amount of money that it would have cost to maintain those assessments and things of that nature, well, I don't think that would have been well used tax dollars. I'll say that way. Mm-hmm.
And as Rosemary mentioned, you know, the transferable skills, I think a lot of people don't realize how their skills are transferable, and they don't necessarily see it. So having counselors available to help them with that, I think, is huge. Because what I've found myself in working with clients is that there are so many people who get stuck in a job that they may not particularly care for that particular job, not realizing that everything that they have built up in their resume can actually open opportunities to something that more aligned with, something that is of value. And I see Craig has his hand raised. Craig, did you have another question?
I own a home health care agency based in Palm Beach County. We've been hiring home health aides and nurses aides for many, many years, and our goal is to help them to develop themselves so that they can build careers, including becoming RNs. So I asked that question earlier about the grants, because we'd love to find money that would help our caregivers to improve themselves and go far in their careers. And I'll be looking forward to checking back in July when that bucket gets refilled to find money to help my caregivers enjoy their best life. Thank you for the information.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. My pleasure.
Great. Well, Cody, you've been a wealth of information, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions surfacing, and we'll be following up with you as well. For anyone else who's participated, we will have the YouTube video up on our YouTube page in probably within a week or so. And so look for that, and you'll be able to get a repeat of anything you might have missed, because Cody, this was really quite valuable, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to meet with you and learn more about CareerSource. And I thank you so much for your time. And thank you everyone for joining us today.
And thank you for the opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great Wednesday.